Here are 17 ADHD college organization tips that no one tells you. The first ADHD dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to raise things up, because when you walk in a room and it feels like it's just so small, you have ADHD, you might get uncomfortable. So, what you want to do is you want to have bed risers to raise your bed up. You may want to have a monitor stand on your desk to raise it up. This is going to give you a little more space, because now you have your monitor raised up and all that space under it you can use for something else. Or you might even have a laptop stand if you have your laptop on your desk a lot and you just want more space to do things. You have one of those, it raises up, and now you have all that space. Now, the reason you use bed risers is because all that space under your bed might not be used. And so, what you want to do is you want to get some under the bed storage or containers to put under your bed. And the bed risers allow you to have more space under there to put more things under there. And so, what you want to do with that also is to make sure you're not putting things you actually need on a regular basis. Put things down there that you may not need for a while, that you just are not going to use until like the end of the year, the end of the semester, whatever falls into that category. I'll put those things under there. And another thing, that if you have the opportunity to have bunk beds, maybe you have two beds you put together that connect to be a bunk bed. I had one of these when I was in college. It gives you all sorts of space on the other side of the room. So if you do have the ability to do that, it might be something else that you can do to give yourself more space. A great ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to use storage cubes. And the reason these are good for ADHD, because one, they allow you to access things really easily, and two, it allows you to see things all the time. So if you think you've lost something, you can at least look in the storage cube and make sure it's not there first. The cool thing about storage cubes is that you can take it and just design basically how you want them to be in your dorm room. They have ones that are separate that you can do one by one, or they have some that are already connected together, but it gives you the versatility to design it and to save space and to put it however is going to be best for you and your roommate. And this is going to be really good, because sometimes with ADHD, you just want to be able to be creative and have something different and design your room a little bit different. This allows you to be creative in that way. Also, they come in different colors. So if you want school colors or whatever, you can get them in those as well. Another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to use hang-in storage. They have these containers, usually with 4, 5, or 6 compartments. What you do is you can take them in your closet. They have hooks, and they hook right onto your closet rod in your closet. And now you have more compartments to put things. You can put whatever you want to in them, of course, as long as it fits in the different tiers or compartments in that thing. But it just makes it really cool, because you can take some of that stuff that's just free flowing and put them in there, and now it's organized and looks a little better. And this is a great way to give yourself more space. And something else that's really cool that you can hang up is a hanging laundry hamper. These are really cool because of the fact that you can put them in your closet. They hang down just like the other compartment I was talking about. And it makes it so much easier to put your laundry right in there, because it's kind of at eye level, just a normal level that you don't have to reach down or anything. And it also makes it really easy to take the clothes out of there as well. And this is one way to always keep your laundry hamper in sight. And that may be like a small, simple thing, but sometimes that is something that makes the difference to you being able to get your laundry done. And another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to use rolling storage. Generally, this means a rolling cart, and the reason it's good is because you can kind of prep it for whatever you need it for. Say you're getting ready to study and you really don't want to go ahead and have to get up and go sit back down again and interrupt whatever you're looking at. You can put all your snacks in there that you will need as you're studying, and then roll it over to wherever you're going to study. And now you have all that stuff right there, and you don't have to get up. The other thing is, if you have friends over and you all want access to the snacks or whatever is on the cart, you can also use it that way, as people just roll it by to each other and get what they want off of it. And another thing that you can use as well is maybe you have certain makeup, or maybe you have certain other things that you want to always have access to. You can put those on the rolling cart. And something else about a rolling cart that's good is it has 3 different tiers or 3 different shelves that you can put things on. This is going to be great because now you have 3 more places to store things. So not only on the top, but you have other things you can put under, and that gives you access to those things as well. So it's just a really good versatile thing that you can have in your room, and you and your roommate can both use it. Another ADHD college dorm organization tip is that simple things can be important. I saw a story about college students that was in college, and one of the most important things in their dorm was a plunger. People were actually fighting over the plunger. They might have been charging people money to use the plunger, and they didn't have a whole bunch of different plungers in the dorm. And so, something so simple that you might not even think about, that you might really need at the time, can be super important. Now, with ADHD, you may not want to go and ask people for these different simple things. It may be uncomfortable for you to do that. You may not be the most extroverted person. And if it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and you need something just really simple to use and something that's just kind of essential at the time, but you don't want to wake somebody up, then that can be an issue. So anything that you can think of that would be something that you think that can be obvious, that might not be something that you think you'll ever need, you want to make sure you take those things with you as well, because this is going to prevent the situation to where you have to go kind of be awkward if you're not the most extroverted person and they'll go ask someone to borrow something, and that whole situation can be sometimes difficult. And another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is that you can have things that attach to your bed that are actually organization items. For example, you have a bed caddy. This is like a thing with all these different pouches that you can put your tablet or cell phone or magazines or pens or whatever. Anything you need can go in there, and it's convenient because all you do is you can reach down and pull these things out, and you automatically know where they are. So maybe you get up in the middle of the night or whatever and you're just kind of disoriented because you just woke up and you're trying to figure out, okay, where's my cell phone or whatever. You know it's right there. Or they have these little tables that also attach to the side of your bed that you can just have there, and it serves the same purpose. All these things are really cool because it gives you some place to store these things, and you might not have space for a full nightstand in your dorm room. So this gives you another option that you can use that will save you space, and it still serves the same purpose as having a nightstand. ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to have a smart speaker in your dorm room. Now, the reason is not just to listen to music, but you can ask the smart speaker all kinds of information. You can ask it, where is the P36 space modulator from? Or you can ask it, how does the cardiovascular system of the body work? And it will give you answers. And this is great for ADHD because of the fact that when you have one and you're trying to study and you're trying to find information, and you looked at the page like 15 times and you still are not getting the information in your brain, instead of having to just keep looking at the page, you can ask the smart speaker, hey, what is this information? And it will give you back the information, and it will also give you different options, and it will also give you things like, hey, all people that looked up this can also look up these things, and that's the thing they looked up after this. Do you want to go to that place as well? All of that is really good for ADHD because there are going to be times in school that you just need a little extra help. Another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is that some campuses actually have a campus laundry service. Tide actually has one at different colleges, and this is probably one of the best things that you can take advantage of because of the fact laundry is really boring, and they will come get your laundry, do it, and bring it back to you. This is definitely worth money. And when you have ADHD, you're going to procrastinate of doing laundry, right? Because you just don't want to go all the way down to the where the washers and the dryers are and sit in there and wait for your laundry to get done and then put it in the dryer and then wait some more. That whole process is just not fun. So, especially like lugging down the laundry to the place in the first place, not fun either. So what you want to do is, if they have these services and you can afford it, it's worth the money. Otherwise, you are going to have to go to the laundry room and maybe sit there and watch the dryer go round and round. And nobody wants to do that. If that is the case, though, bring like an iPad or bring a tablet or music to listen to, just something else for you to do because it can take quite a while for your clothes to wash and then also dry. Now, going back to getting it down to the laundry room, when I went to college, all I had was a bag with a drawstring, and I was like dragging that thing and maybe trying to put it over my shoulder to make it easier to carry. And it was just a struggle because that drawstring, after a while, just doesn't feel real good on your hands, right? Now they have laundry backpacks, which are so awesome because then you have some straps. You can put it right on your back, put your clothes on there, walk it down really easy. And then once you finish with your laundry, you do have a couple different options. You can bring a laundry basket with you, or as long as your laundry backpack is clean, you put all your clothes back in there and then walk it back down to your room. Or you might have space for a rolling laundry cart in your room. This is cool too because all you have to do is then roll that to the laundry room and then roll it back when you're done. And it's all about making things less frustrating for you. And another thing about doing laundry in the dorm is washers and dryers breaking. It might be a frequent occurrence. So this is a tip for when the dryer breaks down. You want to go get a foldable drying rack and keep that in your room so that if the dryer is broken down or maybe all of them are broken, you just have no way to dry your clothes. Or if you're going to have to sit and wait for people to get done and you're like, I need to go to sleep, I got class or whatever, and you don't want to wait for the dryer. And so you have this rack in your room, you put them on there and then they just air dry. And so you could put them on there, go to class, come back, and they'll probably be dry by the time you get back. Another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to use paper plates and paper bowls because of the fact that when you're in college and you have to eat, you know that you're only going to have a certain number of plates that you can bring with you from home, a certain number of silverware that you can bring with you from home. You're dealing with limited space in the room. And unless you want to wash your dishes frequently, then you're going to have to basically wash them every time that you eat because you don't want to bring those dishes dirty back to your dorm room, especially if you have a roommate. That's not really good. So unless you want to wash them every time, you want to use the paper products because once you're done, you can just throw them away and you won't have to worry about them. Now, I didn't mention utensils because generally utensils don't take up a lot of space. So if you do want to have silverware in your dorm, then I think that is okay. I didn't mention cups either because generally when I was in college, I had all sorts of cups in my room from all the places I would go. I'd get free cups. You get free cups at rallies. You get free cups. A lot of times when you go out to, restaurants or whatever in the town, they have like free cups you can get. So that's one thing because you might have a lot of those in your dorm room and they don't take up much space either. And you can stack them on top of one another. But plates and bowls and anything really big, you do want to use the paper kind because that's going to save you space and it's also going to keep your room more clean. And another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is that, and this is more of a hack, if you are going to wash your dishes, get a dish drainer mat and put it in your room. That way, when you bring your dishes back, you can put them there and it will soak up any remaining water so you don't get water on your dresser or maybe, get water over the floor or whatever. You automatically have a place that you can put those things. And it will help keep places that are supposed to be dry from getting wet. Now, one of the worst things when you're in college, you're writing a paper or you're writing something and you have a notepad and everything's written on there in ink and you set it down and you set it right in water because your dishes were there previously and all the water didn't get off of them. Now, that stuff might be smeared. You're trying to figure out, how you're going to figure out what was on there or the paper might rip or whatever. That's just the kind of accidents that may happen when you're in college. And so this is one of the things that can save you that and can help you prevent that situation. Another ADHD college dorm organization hack that no one tells you is to get an air purifier. And the reason is because when you have ADHD and if you're really sensitive to smells, because some people are, you want to get an air purifier. Dorms don't exactly smell the best a lot of times. And so you smell some things that you may not want to smell for sure. And so an air purifier will help you get rid of those smells and make your room at least not smell like that. Now you can get a diffuser too and get some better smells in there as well. Either one of these things is really good if you are sensitive to smells. And it can be one of the best investments that you make because you are going to be living with other people. And it may not be just your roommate. You may have people next to you. It can be another dorm room because generally you have like suites with multiple dorm rooms. And so just to prevent that, you want to get something to make sure that you keep your air fresh. Now, if you're going to get a diffuser, then you want to make sure that you have a good smell that you and both your roommate like. And so that will help to keep things, civil or whatever, right? Because you both enjoy that smell. You don't want to get a smell they don't like because then it's going to make it uncomfortable for them as well. Another ADHD dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to get some way to cancel noise. Noise canceling headphones are great. You can get earplugs, whatever you want to do, because it can be very loud in a dorm. And this can make your life pretty like, I don't want to be in a dorm right now because there's so much noise. It can be from music blasting. It can be from your roommate just snoring. It can be from people just being loud in general in the hallway or in your dorm room. So you need something that's going to cancel out the noise. I know a lot of people with ADHD do have this sensitivity to loud sounds. Now, I know that I've tried some called Loop and they just cancel noise. And so that's really good. But I do like regular headphones that have noise canceling on them as well. And another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is that not all dorms have AC and you need a fan. Because of the fact you get there and you're all excited and then you realize your dorm does not have AC or your AC breaks in your dorm. And so you need some type of fan in your dorm so that when all that happens, you have a way to be cooler, because it's so hard to study already. And then have you ever tried to study when it's really hot and you're just so hot you can't concentrate on what you're trying to read? If you have a fan, you at least get some relief that way. I went to school in Florida, and so heat, humidity, a constant thing. And when the AC went out, it was not a good thing to try to study and get my work done while being hot without a fan. Now, you can go ahead and get some pieces of paper, piece of paper and fold it like a fan, then fan yourself like that. But that's not going to be your best option. Get a cord organizer box, and that means that all your cords will go inside that one box. So that if your roommates have cords, you have cords, you can put them all in your box and you know all the cords are there. You don't have to go looking behind something here or there to find the cord. You know there's a central location. The other thing you need to do when you have this cord organizer box is to label your cords. Take just labels and wrap them around your cord and write whatever the cord is. So for instance, you have an iPhone cord, iPhone for Kevin, iPhone for roommate, or you have some other cords, say to an alarm clock, then some more cords. And so you want to just label them all so you know exactly what you're dealing with and which cords go to where and to what thing. And that's going to make it so much easier because now you have all of them in the cord organizer box. They all go in there, and now you can just look in there, find the one that you need because it's already labeled. And then you can know if it's plugged in or it needs to be plugged in, or if you have the wrong cord or whatever you want to do. And one of the most frustrating things is you try to find a specific cord and cannot find it. You're looking all over for it. You look through some and then you just like, hey, I can't find it. And then you go, you sit down somewhere, then you come back and say, I'm going to go look for it again. And then you do find it and you realize that, oh, it's behind this other cord. I thought that cord was this cord. So when you label it, then you know, hey, this cord is for this exact thing, and you won't generally miss that cord. Another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to get a steamer, because if you don't trust yourself to iron, if you don't know how to iron, then a steamer is going to be better for you. Because what happens with an iron is there can be a lot of different things that are not very good when you're trying to iron. One, you might leave the iron on and then bump into it and then burn yourself. Two, you might leave it on your clothes too long and burn your clothes. 3, it's heavy generally, so you might drop under your foot or whatever. These are just different things that can happen with an iron that generally is not the case with a steamer. And the reason I say a steamer, because you can actually steam your clothes while they're still on the hanger, and that may get all the wrinkles out right there. The other thing about a steamer, it generally takes up less space too, so you might be able to just put it in a drawer somewhere as well. Make sure you can still see it, because if it's out of sight completely, you may not remember where it is, and you go and look in the drawer, you may not remember that it's in there. If you have When you have ADHD, that can be a thing, outside out of mind. Now, if you still want to go ahead and iron, then go ahead and do that. But I just think a steamer is a better option. And another ADHD college dorm organization tip that no one tells you is to have some way to store all your video game accessories, your controllers, your video game cases, anything that you want to have and use with your video game system. You want to have some way to store those things, because when you have those things and you don't have a way to store them, whether it's a box or even, they have these things where you can put your controllers all like in a line going up and down, a controller stand or whatever, right? You have those. If you have ADHD and love video games, then this is going to be something that's really important for you, because you do not want to spend time trying to find all this different stuff throughout your dorm room. It's still a small room, but it's still going to take you time to go through and find this or that within the room. If you have some, container, whether it's a basket or just, a Tupperware container, whatever it is, right? Then all your stuff generally is in there. You don't have to go look around for it. Now, this is not the only video I have on ADHD college dorm organization tips. I have another one that has additional tips for you as well. You can watch that video right in this channel, and I will leave a link in the description as well,